family is Namsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice lit from within. With me today, I'm with Carol Ann Cooper. How are you, Carol Ann?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. I'm just taking up. Oh, I just went to something called gymopho, gymophobics, where they've got it's a gym, but it's with a difference. They don't use weights. They use air pressure, and it's really quite gentle. It's a gentle, but it's smooth. When you're using the equipment. And so I've decided I'm going to do that because it tones all your muscles. It tones and strengthens all your muscles. So it's a whole body workout, and it's a 30-minute circuit. So you've got 3 minutes on each piece of equipment, and everybody moves around at the same time. So you don't end up waiting for equipment that you think you might want or you want to use. It's a circuit that you go around. So I went there yesterday and had a go, and I thought, right, that's my next step. On top of the yoga and the walking to get this body fit and healthy again. Yeah.
Get the
So
body working.
yes, yeah. I mean, it's working, but there's a whole nother level. It's sort of down here. For me, anyway, from my level of what I'm used to or had been, it's down here. But I know for a lot of people, it's probably up there. But everybody has their own levels of fitness and health that they want. So yeah, I'm still working on it. Yeah. So,
Awesome, awesome,
and
awesome.
you, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, good. Thank you. Waiting for
Yes.
school holidays. My other daughter, she's already on a half term,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one
Okay.
finishes on Thursday for Easter.
Grace, yeah.
So yeah, they seem to be having too much half terms,
Oh no.
too much
They
school
need a break.
holidays.
They need a break. I always
When
used to
is
find
when
when
is,
I
when
was
is your
teaching that
pardon?
by the time the end of the term came, they need it. The students needed it. They were exhausted. I mean, we were exhausted, but the students needed that break. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
so
So yeah, it's a half term, and back to the topic. What's the topic
yes.
today? Topic today is quit being a pushover, how to be assertive. I'm curious. Instead of me explaining this topic, Kara, and I'm curious about why did you choose this topic?
Oh well, I again, as I was searching through for a topic, and this one just jumped out at me. I just thought, yeah, and I sort of had a flashback to how I felt that I used to be more of a pushover and started to become more assertive, and things changed. And there is a difference between being assertive or being aggressive. Um, so I thought it'd be a great topic to explore. So, what did you think when you saw it?
Yeah, I think I just thought about whether personal relationship, whether you're at work or business or at home or in social situation, you need to have a strategy that can help you to quit being a pushover and become more assertive. For me, I think when I actually started doing my personal development, I sort of I've decided that I just need to, whatever the friendship that I have, instead of me being a pushover, I just need to mind my own business and
Mm,
create those boundaries in my life where I let people be, just release people to their own freedom
yeah,
um, and just let them be. And I think it's very, very, very important. And also know your worth. When you recognize your value and understanding that your opinions, feelings are, and also needs are very important as anyone else. And if you create that mindset in your foundation of assertiveness, it does help moving forward with friends and creating that good foundation of friendship and everything else. But for me, normally I mind my own business. I give my opinion if it's needed. If it's not needed, I don't give my opinions. I
Yeah.
go shush.
Shush. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, what you're saying, it's important to know your own needs and create those boundaries, because by setting a boundaries, it's your rules and limits that you create for yourself. It's where you go, no, that's enough. I'm not comfortable with that, or that doesn't work for me, or that's against what my values are. But to be able to say that, you need to know what your values are. So if you're someone that doesn't really know what your values are, just create a list of what's important to you. That's the question to ask yourself. What's important to me? What's important to me? What else is important? And what else is important? And just keep going until you get a long list of what's important. You can sort of go deeper and deeper and then put them in order. Say, well, what's most important? What's number one on there? And just get the top five. And then have a look at your life and go, well, actually, have you been living to those values? And then when situations come up, you can then refer back to it and go, well, is this in line with my values? Yes or no? So it's then being able to say yes or no, but it also helps to give guidelines to other people, those around you. They get to know what is permissible behavior around you. What is it you will or won't put up with? And that's what's important. It helps to give them the guidelines. Because if you're a pushover, they'll try everything. They'll just keep going and keep landing stuff on you, or keep expecting things of you that you might not feel comfortable with. But if you're someone that doesn't stand up and go, well, no, actually, I'm not comfortable with that, so it's no, then it will just keep, you'll start beginning to resent it. And there was something that I learned about being able to say no. I learned that when I used to assist for a company called Landmark, and they do a lot of personal development courses and trainings. And when I was assisting there, they will keep asking you to help, to assist at all their all their courses. And I was always saying yes because I enjoyed it. And it got to a point where I was like, no, but I didn't know if I could say no, so I didn't like to say no. And then one day I just thought, no, no, I need to say no if it doesn't work for me. And I remember having a conversation with someone, one of the course leaders, and saying, well, it's okay to say no, because then we know where we stand. And we won't keep asking. If you said no for that course, we won't ask you again. Whereas if you go, well, maybe, we'll keep asking you, And so one day, someone asked me and said, well, do you mind if we keep ringing you for other courses? And I said, no, as long as you don't mind me saying no. And they went, no, of course not. And for me, that was a huge freedom. I'd had that conversation. I'd been able to be assertive and say, well, yes, I don't mind you keep ringing me and asking me to assist on different courses, as long as you don't mind me saying no. And from that point on, I was happy to say no. I didn't have to explain myself. No was no. And that was like amazing. Did it mean I kept saying yes? Or no, I did say yes to those I wanted to do, but I was also happy to say no. And that made a huge difference. So being able to say no is something that you could practice. And that's another way of stop being a pushover and becoming assertive. So is that something, how do you find saying no, Namsa?
Oh no, I'm very comfortable now saying no to people, Carol Anne.
Have you always been comfortable, or was there a
No,
time when you used to
no,
say, yeah?
I used to be a people pleaser. I just
Mm-hmm.
do. I wouldn't want to upset anyone. I just used to wanting to see everyone, just to please everybody, and
Mm.
just go above and beyond the thinking that I'm helping myself and helping people around me, but it made me more miserable.
Mm,
But now I'm really comfortable. If someone wants me to do something, if I can't do it, I can't do it. I'm not available. But
mm,
if I can, um, I can do it. The only party where if somebody like let's say with the children, like people from school, like if they want me to help with the children, I always say yes to help
mm,
out
mhm,
because I know that if that person asks me means that they really, really need my help. And for me, with my work, I'm really flexible. I can be anywhere. So I know if somebody needs my help, I can be at home here, just come and work at home and then look after the kids. Or I bring the kids in my office. Um, my daughter, she's fine by herself, but when she has friends, they make noise. But I can say no to that. But if somebody asks me, Nomsa, can you help me with the kids? I know how difficult it is because I've gone through
yeah,
that journey of being a single mom. So I
mm,
just work from home. I'm flexible. So my work is flexible everywhere. So I don't mind doing that. But anything else, even my spouse, when he asks me something, if I don't want to do it, I just say no, we're not doing it, and I'll just put my popcorn up and just sit down and just enjoy myself. But before, I used to feel uncomfortable when somebody asked me something, and no was making me uncomfortable. But once I went through Paul McKenna's programs, I did How to Mend Your Broken Heart, the module, and it was good. It helped me with so many things, how to make decisions, and also when I go out, if I get served, if I go to a restaurant, if they serve. Sometimes I used to go to a restaurant, Carol Annie, they'll serve me cold food because I don't want no confrontation or cold
mhm,
hot chocolate. I love my hot chocolate. They'll put too much milk and then it's cold. And I
mm,
like my hot chocolate hot. And I would just drink it. I would just close my eyes and
yes,
just drink it at once. And then because I don't like no confrontation. But
mm,
now, if I go out and they give me food, I'll say, "Excuse me, would you like to change this, please?" It does not happen very often, but before it used to happen very often. But when I sorted myself out, it doesn't happen anymore.
yeah, amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
Yeah.
That assertiveness happens, and it's like the universe gets it, and
Yeah, so I
yeah,
like I like the part when you say when these people ask you to come in and help. I think you told me this story before, and I was really, really proud of you when they asked you to come in and help, and you were like, "No, I don't. I'm not available. I'm available, but not available for you." It's something that I have learned the hard way, even it in gossip talk shows or with the Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency, even with me, life in general. When somebody says no to me, I don't think that they are bad. It actually makes me proud of them for being able to say no to me because some people they don't know how to say no. I
mm,
I have my friends as well. Sometimes they'll rather suffer, but if I ask them something, they always say yes. And then sometimes I ask them, I'm like, you never asked me for help. But when I ask you for help, anytime you're always available for me. How does that work out? And they're like, oh, no, so sometimes you don't like this. So, but I've trained them now to actually allow themselves to be helped.
yeah,
Some people, I used to be like that. It's easy for them to say yes, but when they do need help, they cannot ask for it.
mm,
They feel uh, asking for somebody that's giving people problems. I used to think that. But in this world where we live in, we've got to allow ourselves to give, and you've got to allow yourself to receive, and
mm,
you've got to allow yourself to be able to say no. When you say no, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's
Yeah.
just you're not available. For me, I had to learn the hard way actually to release people to my freedom, where if somebody says no, I just celebrate them. I'm like, okay, and it's fine.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It is fine. And it's knowing that it's not personal. That's the important thing. Because sometimes people make it mean something about that person saying no, or they don't like me, or they don't, they create a story. It's not
it's
true.
self-awareness. It
No is
means,
no,
yeah,
and that's it. All they did was say no.
yeah, yeah.
Listen to the
It's
story
nothing
that you
bad
make up.
about it.
No. So it's not taking anything personally, which helps you to then be more comfortable. Um, and also knowing that you're saying no, it's nothing personal to them about them, and look at it both ways. The other thing, um, saying about when you're speaking or asking, it's about being very clear and to the point and not waffling and going around the houses. And that was something else I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, just get to the point, get to the point," and I'm going, but I can't get to the point. And I realized in that moment, I was playing out a pattern, which is what of my mum. So it was sort of, it's what you call, it's learned behavior. And that is going round the houses when you're talking, because my mum always went round the houses, never got to the
Round the
point.
bush.
So yeah, so it was something that I've always done, and it was really uncomfortable for me to get to the point. But I worked with that, and it's like, okay, get to the point. And I can. There's still an element at times of, going houses, but I'm getting more comfortable at just getting to the point. Just be straight, and that helps you to be assertive or come over as being assertive. It's just being straight. It's being open and honest and to the point. Then people get it, and they can then, there's more respect that's had, and it's, you feel more comfortable in yourself because it's like, oh, they've heard me, they've listened, they've understood and accepted. Whereas when you go around the houses, it's like, they're not listening to me, they're not hearing me. Well, of course they can't, because you're going around the houses. You haven't got to the point. So get to the point, be straight, be clear in your communication. But that all comes down to you knowing exactly what it is you want. And when you start hedging or trying to go around the houses or not be straight with your communication, become aware of what is going on in your mind. What stories are you telling yourself? What limiting beliefs are going on? Oh, that person, no, no, they're not going to like this, or no, I can't do that because I'm getting, listen to that. Listen to the feelings that are going on in your body and address them. Those things that are stopping you from being clear and straight to the point. Because unless you address those limiting beliefs, those underlying issues that are in the background, those little voices that are going, no, 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 and stopping you from being clear and straight and to the point and standing. Can you feel the difference in the body language as well? You're like, there's that decisiveness. Then you will be a pushover because people will go, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. Boom. She'll cave, or he'll cave, or no, I'm not going to cave. This is clear. And if I want time, and if you can't make your mind up in that moment, say so. Again, be clear. Well, it's like, not quite sure right now. I will get back to you, and have a by when. I'll get back to you by the end of the day, or I'll get back to you by the end of tomorrow. No, I need time to think about this. So it's clear they know where they stand. And there's nothing wrong um, in actually saying, I don't know. I haven't got an answer right now. And I'm not sure if I can do what you've requested. Let me think about it, and I will get back to you. But the important thing is you give them a by when you're going to get back to them, and you make sure that you do. And because again, that is being assertive. You're being in charge of things, because if you don't get back, then you're not being your word. And people go, she's not being a word. And if you try that again, about saying, I'll get back to you, they'll go, well, you didn't last time. So are you going to this time? So it's enabling people to know where they stand with you and know they can trust you to be your word. And if you do break your word, it's about then following up and going, oh, I'm, sorry, I said I would do this and I didn't. But next time I will make sure that I've got something in place to remind me and I will get back to you. It's all in communication, being straight and clear. Is there any other ways that people can be assertive that you know of, Namsa?
Setting, I like it when you talk about limiting beliefs, Akira, and let me comment about what you said. You said become aware of what is going on in your mind. It's very, very important to actually to be in the present moment and whatever is going on in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you always use this word like don't make it wrong. Whatever you do, any decision that you make sure that you don't make it wrong, like blame yourself. So it's very, very important. And also, when it comes to limiting beliefs, there are some things that can limit us living the life that we want because we want to please everybody. For me, with my family, I can tell you that I'm not popular. I Everyone loves me in my family.
Of course. Yeah.
But when it comes to the crowd, I don't get involved with the crowd.
Okay.
Honestly, everybody loves me in my family. But I'm not popular in one thing that I don't get involved in people's business. If somebody drags me into people's business, I'm out. I don't get involved. I always ask, like, what part do you want me to play? And I'll be like, I love you. I love that one. You all my bloodline. So I'm out. So I'm gonna say no, I'm out. I'm only part of this life where there is joy or there is comfort where I need to comfort somebody, or if things that make sense. Anything that does not make sense, where people just want to get their way, and because our person says no, and because they said no, now they are wrong, and they think they are better than this person. Because me, I understand that it's not because they are better than other people, it's because they're not available that moment. It does
Mm,
not make them wrong. So it's very, very important to, like Kero Anne says, be in the present moment, self-awareness, understand your feelings, your uh, your own feelings, your needs, boundaries. Boundaries are very, very important. And also in every how you feel about different situations as well as what Carol Ann said. Use I statement all the time when expressing yourself is very, very, very important. And use assertive language as well. That's just, for example, I, instead of saying you always ignore or suggest. So don't say those words, or if you say you always ignore, or I feel frustrated, just tell somebody that I feel frustrated. Me, I
mm,
like no, but when my spouse says no, Carol, and it's just so boring because I cannot argue with him. I just have to walk
mm,
away. Honestly, I like no for everything. But sometimes I go to him and I want to ask this something, and I want us to do something, and he would just look at me and say, "Babe, no." And I know that I cannot argue with him because this is what I teach. I
mm.
cannot go the other way around. And he would just look at me and say, "You still standing there waiting for me to change my mind?"
Oh, I love
So
it.
he was saying no, and I was just like, look at him, and I'm like, and he's like, babe, just go. Don't stand there waiting for me to for a different answer. The answer is no. So I'll be like, oh. God,
Oh,
then I just have to
yeah.
walk away because I know I can't argue with him.
Mm.
And that wouldn't be fair. So it's those scenarios sometimes I'm like, why does this no sometimes does not feel right?
All right.
Sometimes it's okay, it feels right, but with other people,
Mm.
I know when my spouse, because I know I'll be asking him something very, very important. And he would just look at me and say, babe, I don't think so. No. Then I'll be like standing there, my face. And if you are looking for
Mm.
a different answer, the answer is no, go. And I'm like, okay, okay. He
Okay.
has to have his boundaries.
Yeah.
I even with the children as well, we've got to be that. But with the children, what I do is I know some parents they for me, my no is no, my yes is yes. Like my daughter, if I allow her to go out and see her friends when she comes back, I say nothing. And she'll look at me and say, Mommy, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And she'll be like, why are you not telling me off? I'm like, am I supposed to be saying something? And then she'll be like, this is time where you have to tell me off. I'm like, no, this is time where I have to mind my own business. if I
Oh.
tell somebody no, no, this time you cannot get home this time. My answer is no. And then you decided to go this time. When you come back, this is where you apologize, you see, not me screaming at you. And then I become the bad guy. so,
Mm.
so for me, when it comes to like choosing my fight, my battles, I know how to choose my battles. I just ignore. There's some things like sometimes people would trigger you to say something. They want you to fight them. Me is the time where I'm saying no. I'm ignoring you. I'm not gonna
Mm.
fight you. I just love you, but I'm not gonna fight you. I don't have that time. My daughter does that. She goes, Mommy, this is the time where you're meant to. I'm like, no, it's not the time where I'm meant to tell you off. It's the time where
Mm.
I need you to actually take responsibilities and do what mommy tells you to do. And if you believe that mommy is gonna use her energy and tell you off, mommy ain't gonna do that because mommy got better things to do.
Mm.
So that means tomorrow when you ask it to go, you're not gonna go unless you tell me why I should let you go. So and then I leave it like that. But it's very, very important to actually set clear boundaries. And also when you set clear boundaries, be firm but respectful when you enforce those boundaries. And also the principles of life. Uh, like Carol Ann, when you say learn to say no, it's like with my spouse, I know that if I ask something, if he says no, I know it's a no. I know I'm not going to even try to jeopardize my relationship by wasting my time and trying to
Mm.
fight him. I know that. So you have to have principles in life where people, they know who you are as a person. Like I'm dating the guy. I know what kind of a person he is. Like he's actually. Sometimes I ask God because I said, God, give me the guy that is similar, but he gave me the guy that is principles similar like me. It's like honestly,
Uh-huh.
I'm like. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I just said a little bit of it where I can just have my way a little bit, but I can't.
No, no, no.
I can't have my way. I don't know, Carol Ann. I'm sure there's some women out there who will be like, I can have my way with my husband, or I can have my way. But with this guy, his no is no. And me as well, my no is no. So it's like
Mm.
God went, okay, you two, you'll be together, you'll be okay together. Just get along. We actually similar. We don't get involved in people's drama. We
Mm.
keep ourselves to ourselves. Even with family, we don't get involved with the drama and everything. So we mind our own business. And it's important to have the principles in place. Some people they make rules, but when you make rules they make you feel like with egos and rude. But if you have principles in place, and then when somebody enters your life and you actually introduce them to your principles, the foundation of your life, they'll be able to know their boundaries, what they can do into your life. Like with my spouse, I know there are some things that I can do. There's some things that I cannot do. I know my boundaries, even with my friends as well. I know that there's some things that I can do, but there's some things that I just have to mind my own business. Just releasing people to my own freedom and giving them that freedom, and just knowing, letting them know that I love you with all my heart, but there's some things that I can do for you this much, but there's some things where I'm gonna have to say no. So I do that even with my children. But their dad is different than me when it comes to parenting. He says yes to everything. There's times, quite often, he says no, but then his no is like, if you do this, I might change my mind. I'm like, why can't you just say yes? Because the children that I'm raising here, Carol, and they're using my mindset. So if they want, you cannot make a deal with my children and win. You will always be a loser if you make a deal with my children, because they will be like, okay, if I do this, that means I can get this, so I'm gonna do it 100% in order for me to do that. So I don't make deals with them. If I
Because they're going to do it. So yeah,
yeah,
but
if
then
I
I
make
guess
a
you can
deal,
use that in your to your own ends if you wanted to. If you know they're going to do something because
yeah,
it's a
if I
deal,
make a deal, it means I'm
you know.
prepared to pay for it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I always make a deal when I know I'm prepared for it. But
yeah.
if I'm not prepared for it, I stay
No,
away.
yeah. And that's where you know your boundaries. That's no,
Yeah.
where you know you're comfortable and you can say yes or no. It's your choice. You make that decision, you know. And I'm sure there's things where you know your husband will say, or your partner will say yes.
Yeah, he always says two things that make sense. But anything that
Okay.
it goes above is like, got to think about it, babe. No, we're not doing it. When I'm like, oh, okay, then I can't negotiate. I know that I can't negotiate.
Yeah, yeah.
And when my daughter gets involved, or sometimes if we want to purchase something, if it's expensive. But him, when he wants to purchase something, he will go and purchase something big without asking us. I don't know how that work out, but us, we
Mm,
have to negotiate if there's something that needs to be
mm,
bought that is big. But with him, it's like, oh, I bought this, but I don't buy anything. You guys always buying things. So he always has this excuse where I've made this big purchase, but you guys always doing this. And I'm like, oh,
mm.
okay. So we can't
Okay.
complain in that part. But there are some times where you can't be a pushover. Like being a pushover, it destroyed my relationship. Because even us, me and my ex, we didn't know how to say no to people. We'll make plans, and when we make plans, and people come in and say, "Oh, would you like to do this with us?" And we drop everything, and in the end, we end up getting frustrated,
Mm,
and then that means that our relationship becomes vulnerable. And until the end, it was then when I was doing personal development, I was like, some people really have some heavy stuff, but with us, we didn't have any problem. We just did not communicate properly,
mm,
and
mm,
we just didn't know how to say no to people. We were always like yes to everything. We just people pleaser. And so many things that I have learned that sometimes there's people that they go through pain in a relationship and they think that it is a problem, but it's because they don't know how to set boundaries,
mm,
and they don't know how to set principles, have principles in place. Because when somebody enters your life, they should be able to know this is how NOMSA needs to be treated. These are NOMSA's principles. And when they are walking along with you. But some people, they don't have all that in place. They just, you do whatever you want to do. I'm okay with it. And they end up getting frustrated and unhappy. So it is important to self-worth as well, and expressing yourself with confidently is very, very important. Stand tall, make eye contact, and
Yeah.
clearly
This.
express your thoughts and or your
Mm,
opinion. Be confident, communicate. This is what I did actually
mm-hmm,
by defeating Lucifer. I looked at him in the eye. I knew I was scared. And I looked at him and I said to him, I choose God instead of your kingdom.
mm,
And by those reasons, you will not do anything to me because I have a choice. And inside of me, he wanted to scare me off, but I could recognize that he was putting fear in me. And I stood tall and I said, no.
mm,
And I was like, he was like telling me that he would kill me. And I was like, no, I kill you as well. He was like, you are so bonkers, I'm gonna have to go. And I was like, because I knew that if his father says no, now it's up to me to actually stand firm. So I had to
mm,
actually stand firm. And I knew that because like you can feel the angel of God, it makes you feel, it give you the feelings that you have this choice in life, but there's other choices that you can do. I'm not forcing you. So I was like, okay, I'm taking this choice that is so strong, that it gives me confidence, that gives me life. And I was like, I choose to follow Jesus instead of following you. And I was like, no matter how much he was like putting, I give you this norms, I give you this. And I was like, I'm standing tall. And I was like, with you. And I said to him, what is it? What is it to you that you're gonna give me? You're gonna give me sickness, you're gonna give me this. And I was right. And he was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go. But he was like, but when you find out the people that agreed with you, you're gonna get hurt. But I didn't get hurt anyway.
mm,
I was standing tall. So it's very, very important. I share this story because some people they feel that they don't have choices in life, but you do have a choice in life. You can, if you choose to be popular in everything you do, people will enter your life and take advantage of you. But if you choose to stand firm, people will like you for that because
mm,
you are being true to yourself, and the real people will follow you. It's like with me, like on my social media, like if I have family members that don't support me, I don't get angry with them. I remove them straight away on my social media. But that does not mean it has to interfere with our relationship. I understand that if they don't support me on my social media with my work, I'm fine with it. They're still my blood. But there are some things that I have to stand firm where my no has to be no. And even when I'm looking for something like business wise, if somebody says no, I got to understand that they didn't see my talent, but it does not mean that I have to stop going. I have to keep going. And I teach that to my children.
mm,
It does work because when you walk through the in life, some people they feel happy when they receive yes all the time, but when they receive no, they are like, this person is a bad person, is this, but they are not. So it's very, very important. I don't know
So
about you.
it is about being able to receive a no as well as give a no, isn't it?
Yeah.
And recognizing people that are not happy with a no, that's their issue. It's got nothing to do with you. Um, but something you said about people should know how to treat you. there's an element of they should know. Well, what you need to remember is that people can't read your mind. If they don't really know you, it's because you
Oh, no,
haven't
what I
shared with
mean
them.
by that, Carol, and what I mean by that is this question, the reason why I'm saying this is when I was going through challenges with Lucifer, I could tell that he knew what was in my heart.
Hmm.
He knew that love is unconditional. It cannot change. Love doesn't change. When somebody says, I'm a loving and caring person, it means they don't change. They will continue
Mm.
loving you
Hmm.
regardless of the situation where you go through.
Hmm.
So he knew that, like, he will test me with the family members. They'll come and be horrible to me. But my response will be different. My response, I'll respond with grace, love and grace. And then he'll move away and torture those people that are horrible. But then I started realizing actually, when you read the Bible, it says God, it doesn't change, he's always the same. So that's what he's doing with the human being. He knows that when you are kind, you cannot change. It's like you are a
Hmm.
kind person, Carol Ann. There are times where sometimes I say, can you come at Ngozi talk shows? And sometimes you're busy or you can't help, but you respond with kindness. And I responded with kindness as well because I know that Carol Ann always has my back. But just because I did not get my way, it does not mean that. So, a character of a person, what I'm trying to say is what I've learned is a character of a person, it doesn't have to change. It has
No.
to have grace in it.
Hmm.
It doesn't, it has to have love in it. But when it changes, it means that that person, they're not who they proclaim to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's in
Yeah.
that way, that's what
Okay.
that's how I need to put it. Not to say people should know. It means the character of a loving person and a kind person, they will always be like that. They will never change. Because with
Mm.
me, he was like testing me. And because in my heart, that's who I am, I wouldn't respond to anything. I wouldn't respond to anybody like like if somebody comes in, it will control people to come and be horrible to me. And I'll just be like, oh, it's one of those. I'll be like, I'll put the phone down and I'll be like, is one of those I had to like categorize, and I'll be like, one of those crazy ones. And I'll be like, I am trying to make you go crazy here. And I'll be like, there's nothing to be crazy with. If I am genuine, I have to be genuine. If I'm kind, I have to be kind. Anything that comes in to trigger me, that means there's something in me that I need to work on. So I'll be like, I've worked on myself. So I don't need to be triggered with anything.
Mm.
So that was the only way that how I survive. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
having my boundaries, having my principles in place, knowing my self-worth, knowing my identity, knowing my true authenticity. Because sometimes there are people that they know who they are, but they will do anything to change their character to fit other people in. I don't do that. I even taught my mom that. My mom, my mom taught me to be like this person, but now I've taught her to be just her and to be the person that she wants to be. Just because I'm her daughter, if she wants to tell me off, she can tell me off. So
Mm. I think that where I was going with what I was saying is about some people have an I think that other people should know what
yeah,
how to treat them, should know what they're thinking. So it's really don't assume or don't expect people to read your mind.
I used to be like
If
that
you
in
actually want
relationship.
something,
Yeah.
say it. Don't I know people that just drop hints, and it's like, stop dropping hints. I'm not going to pick it up. Be direct. if you want something, say it. If something is not comfortable for you, say so. Let people know. If something bothers you, let them know. Rather than sitting there and going, and making them wrong because they're not understanding that something's bothering you. How can they know that something's bothering you if you don't tell them? So I think this is where I was going with what I was saying, because sometimes there is an expectation of other people knowing what you're thinking, knowing what you're feeling. So again, it comes down to you knowing what you're thinking and what your thoughts are and what you're feeling, and so that you can then express it. So it is being able to do that, because that's being assertive. And it's not a case of, like you were saying, it's using that I statement. The I statement is really powerful. It's saying that I am feeling this. It's not saying you're making me feel
No,
angry.
no one
It's
can
it's
make you feel
I
anything.
am feeling angry right now. I feel anger. And it's being able to then move forward with that without putting blame on the other person. It's stating how things are for you right now and what it is you would like to do to move forward, or to be able to move forward. So that again is something to be, again, it comes down to knowing yourself and being willing to speak up for yourself. And something you were saying about we have choices. We do have a choice. But what you also need to remember is there are consequences. There's always consequences to your actions, to what you say or to what you do. So just remember you have a choice, and the choice that you make will have consequences. It'll have an impact. There'll be an outcome. If you don't like the word consequences, there's an outcome. Something happens as a result of what you chose to do or to say. And then it's being responsible for that, what happens. You chose that. So it's being able to say, okay, I chose that, and take responsibility for it, rather than, no, it's their fault. It's not about blaming or making fault or saying it's someone else's responsibility. What happens is your responsibility. You chose to do what you did. And that's why when I went into hospital last year, and I was saying, that, okay, I got to where I got to as a result of my choices. I knew that I was destroying my body, but I didn't know how to stop it. Nobody else was making me. It was just something within me that was taking me on that route. I also realized that over 20 years ago, when the consultant said to me, yes, there's an ovarian mass there, and you'll need to have an operation. And I said, no, I'd like to deal with this holistically. And he stood over me and said, no, it won't work. And then wrote to my doctor, and at the bottom said she's not having an operation because she's scared. I was furious. I thought, how dare you interpret my decision in that moment? So, of course, my back was up, and I made a choice and a decision in that moment. I'll show you. And that's what was taking me to that point of destroying my body, because I couldn't stop. That part of me was still going. And I had to have a conversation with her in the end to say, look, okay, we are where we're at. We need to do something differently now. And acknowledged her for the strength and determination that she'd had all these years. And yes, I'd done a lot holistically. And I'll always bless the nurse. It was the second nurse that I saw when I went into A&E. She said to me, well, something must have worked holistically for you to be still here 20 years later. And I went, oh, thank you. It just meant she listened and acknowledged, and it's something I hadn't thought about. Something had worked. But I also realized that at some point it would have been better for me to have had that conversation with the doctors and had that interaction and had both medical and holistic and work, but me being in charge of it and me taking a more guided route. But I also felt guided from above, and I have no regrets. I have no qualms. It's okay. I have no judgment over my that part of me that made that decision, that younger me that made the decision to do that. What happened was what happened. The choices were made, were made. I got to where I got to. And then I ended up in hospital and made choices from there. And I'm back here and I'm living things in a different way. I have an opportunity to now look at things differently. But for me, doing things holistically is what's important, but also having that discussion, that opportunity to discuss things with a medical professional, but be able to make my own choices, knowing what the consequences will be. That's up to me, and not be told, well, you've got to do that. That's not how I work. But I certainly will consider going to a doctor now and asking for their opinion, but be more as just as comfortable in saying, okay, I hear what you're saying and take it on board, or do whatever they're asking me to do. But if I feel there's something holistically I can do to support and get the same outcome, then that's what I'll do. Because it's my choice. But it's being able to stand up for that and not go, oh, okay, doctor says I've got to do this. No, it's not about doctor says I have to do this. I don't have to do this. For me, it's a suggestion. It's something from their knowledge and experience. Like when I was in hospital, there was a doctor that said to me, because I was saying no to the injection at night for the anticoagulant drug. I can't remember what it's called now. And she shared with me and said, because I wasn't moving at that point, and she said she knew somebody that didn't take it and had a heart attack because a blood clot got there. And I got her concern. I got her fear and her experience. And I went, okay, I hear you. For now, I will take it. When I get home, it stops. Or when I start walking, it stops. But I hear what you're saying. And because I'm not mobile, I will take it. Did I enjoy it?
Oh,
I didn't like
I
it.
kept
But,
feeling you,
you know,
girl.
but in the end, I did say no. And they respected that. And they kept asking each other. I go, nope, I don't need it. I'm up and about and I'm walking. And so it is knowing when to not so much acquiesce, but to go along with, and when to stand your own ground. But it comes from discussion, from asking the questions and getting to know, and not just being told, well, you've got to because it's for your own good. No, that doesn't work for me. I need to know why. What is it that has you say that? And be able to make my own mind up ultimately. But again, it's remembering you make a choice, you live with the consequences, knowing that you made that choice. And again, that's being assertive and accepting that. So it's understanding you're in charge of how you feel. It's also understanding you're not in charge of how other people feel. Something you
Oh, yeah.
say might trigger something, but it's their issue. It's their, you've triggered it. Okay, how was I to know it was going to trigger? But it's there. You're not responsible for triggering them. You can be responsible for saying you said what you said, but it's what you do afterwards.
Yeah.
It's what you do afterwards that counts. So,
I kept saying to you, get up. I kept feeling you.
yes,
Like every
yeah.
time I pray, I'll just walk when I'm coming from work at 12. I'll feel you trying to get up,
No.
but there was like a heavy, heavy, heavy thing. And the angel of God will be like showing me that she has a choice getting up, but when she's ready, it's up to her to do it. It was like your
Yeah.
prayers have been answered because we were like praying with Shireen,
Mm-hmm.
and the angel of God will be like, your prayers have been answered, but she needs to do the work now. And I could feel they have like you'll be like trying to get up and then you change your mind. I'll be like, Carol Ann, get up.
There were
And
so
then
many
in the
times when
following
I
day you do the same, I'll be like, get
got
up. And I think people will be like, what is she talking to? And I'll be like, walking. And they'll be like, so she's trying to get up. And then you change your mind. And then it was like, just get up, make a decision. And then the day I did not feel anything, I did not feel you, I did not feel anything. I just felt this happy, happy. And then I remember the phone call, and I was like, oh my God, that was the best news ever. I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God.
Mm, mm.
That was the best news ever in my life. You know,
Yeah,
it's
there's
amazing.
could feel
Yeah,
that
we
there's
do
that.
have a
Yeah,
choice in life.
yeah, yeah.
Everything we do in life, we do have a choice actually. We could die and then we could come back if we wanted to.
Mm,
We
mm,
do have a choice. Whatever we do in life is two
yeah,
o'clock now.
yeah.
And for those who are watching, guys, build self-confidence to boost your self-esteem if you're somebody who is struggling with the confidence, and seek support if needed. And just have a strategy that you can use. I know there are some people that sometimes you will look at them and they will look like, oh, they are confident, they know what they're doing. But when it comes to the decision, like in a relationship, sometimes we let people walk all over us. Try to have a strategy where you can just say, okay, I'm not going to be a pushover. Even in business, you hear people complaining. They'll be like, I'll be like, why are you hanging out with them? They're like, don't say you don't understand. I'm like, I do understand. It's very simple. Just get out of that situation and just don't get yourself involved, because we do have a choice in life. Everything we do in life, whether it's a business, environment, we have a choice of who we hang out with. A relationship, we have a choice who we date and what we can
Mm,
put up with. All these things is our surroundings. We do have a choice, but don't make that choice that you make destroy your tomorrow. Let it be a choice that can build your tomorrow, that can make your tomorrow look better. So yeah, that's what I live with you
mm.
guys.
Okay.
I leave you with that. Just know who you are, your worthiness, your self-worth is very important, and be in the present moment. Meditate. If you're
Mm,
somebody who doesn't meditate,
mm.
I find out something, but yesterday, but I got to try it first
Okay.
until I start sharing with people, with other people. So I just find out about something like the area where you live, how it's all about like life, how you can live a happy life, how people become miserable. So I was listening to my pastor. I was listening to this guy. There's this guy that I like. He worked with Lucifer from the age of 9. He was 9 since he was 9 years old until he was. What I'm saying with Lucifer, I mean Lucifer, the angel of death, the demon.
Mm,
So his family, their best, they were the witches, and then they recruited him into the family. So he worked with them until he was older. Now he's the pastor. So he teaches every trick that he does. So I was teaching yesterday, I was teaching about something. And I was like, that's why Nkosi talk shows is like this. And that's why my business is like this. So I've got to do that first. Once I do that first and then I get the results, I come and share it with you guys. So I'm in a mission. Hamza
okay.
is in a mission.
Yay.
I'm in a mission, guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Once I get the results, I'll come and share them with you. This mission is so big. So I come and share it with you. So I just have to learn to say no, but I come and share with you the good news once once I find that breakthrough.
Hmm.
So I come and teach you guys.
Cool.
Carol
So
Ann, any words of encouragement that you want to leave with our lovely audience?
yeah, just one thing is assertiveness takes time and patience. So if it doesn't work the first time, you saying no and you feel yourself caving doesn't mean you can't practice. Keep going at it. Just recognize and acknowledge, oh, okay, well, I did that. I caved this time. Don't make yourself wrong. It takes time and practice. And just go, right, well, how could I be next time? Be that bit more assertive and stand my ground. And I'd just like to leave you with a quote from Edith Eva. To be passive is to let others decide for you. To be aggressive is to decide for others. To be assertive is to decide for yourself. And to trust there is enough and that you are enough. So thank you for
Thank you.
listening.
Thank you so much, Carol Ann. And guys, please do connect with us on our social media. We have a unique billionaire mindset group. So you can come into the group. And but when you enter unique billionaire mindset, you can use your company so that you post so people get to know you. And when they need to use your service, they know that they can rely on you. So we don't advertise, but if you're somebody who posts all the time, people will get to know you and they'll get to have a relationship with you. And then we have Ngozi Talk Shows group. So please do come and join on Facebook and follow us on our social media. And if you do need coaching, guys, please do connect with Carol Ann on her social media. And you can also connect with her at Hope Spring Eternal Introduction Agency website. I have two websites, guys. When you log in, when you go into the website, there's two websites. If you type it www.hseia.com, it will come in with the two websites. The other one is Coach. So it will need a password. So ignore that one, go to that one that can let you in. I think in some platform, the website has already been changed. So they are working on it. So just if you want to connect for coaching, please do get in touch. We have amazing coaches and mostly looking for love. Go to the page where you register and find love. We help you to connect with the love of your life. There's true love out there. It still exists. Some people have given up, but it still exists. And just for coaching, there's a page where you can just go and register for coaching, just for inquiries. Or if you just want to work with the NOMSA guys, I'm all yours. I can work as long as you can. For me, my work, I involve God, guys. So I'm a Christian. So if I have to coach you, I don't coach you to love God, but I will coach you. I'm very, very authentic. I've learned so much in life. So when I do coach you, I'm not gonna coach you like to help you, like hear, like to tell you what you think I want you to hear. I just help you to actually find that breakthrough that is real. I find my breakthrough myself, and my breakthrough is real. And even sometimes when I find myself with challenges in life, I know that I'm gonna be okay. Carol Ann can tell you guys, I've gone through challenges in life. Damn it, and goes to talk shows. I have my perfect coaches. These guys never ask for problems, but Carol Ann, you do sometimes when you're going through something, you do ask for prayers. But my other coaches, they're so perfect. Nomsa is always have something like she's asking. I'm always asking for support, guys. I can't deal with things on my own. So that's kind of a coach that I am, that I'm a free person. So if you just want that kind of coaching where you're gonna go to a coach, sometimes I ask myself, I get clients, Carol Ann, sometimes, and they're like looking to date. And they'll tell me that Nomsa, I spend 5,000 there, 10,000 there, and I need to go and register to do something. And I'll be like, what? Why are you registering money there? And they'll be like, because I need to find that breakthrough. And I'll be like, okay, sit down, tell me your story. Maybe I'll help you. And I just say one word, and they never come back. uh, they don't need coaching anymore. They don't need to spend 5,000 anymore. And I also refuse to coach that person as well. I refuse to match them as well. Because if somebody is spending a lot of money, they're not going to learn it if I'm willing to. What I do is I support them with the dating apps just to teach them you don't have to spend £50,000 to get that breakthrough. So if they tell me, if a client comes in and they tell me I've spent this money, I'm like, we're going on dating apps. Because I know on dating apps, their true personality, it will come out, who they really are. So I support them in that. I help them to create a profile and then they begin to match. I give them tips how to be their own matchmaker and they work on it. And then within a few months, they'll be like, Noms, I found the one. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because with a matchmaker, with me, I have to do the work for them. That means they're not learning and they still have to pay me thousands and thousands of pounds. So I'm that kind of coach. If I don't need to take your money, I don't take it. You go somewhere else where I'm not cheap. But if I do take your dosh, I need to take your money, take it and I help you. Some people don't need coaching, Kero, and they just need poop in the end.
Yeah.
To say,
Okay.
wake up.
So
You
yeah.
already been coached to somewhere else. You don't need to spend no more money.
Mm.
So
Okay.
thank you guys. We'll